good old cartoon theory. Who does not love it? I mean, actual better question to ask is who does love them? As you all probably know, cartoon theories have this pretty bad aura around them because they're often just made to be dark as possible. You definitely already saw a million different cartoon theories, and it seems like most of them are just if the insert character was actually dreaming the whole time and the rest of the cast is dead for some goddamn reason. So today I decided to debunk few of those theories. To do that, I'll be reacting to a video by YouTuber The Finest, 15 dark cartoon theories that will ruin your childhood. And just to put as a disclaimer, there are a lot of cartoons in here that I have either not seen or I have not seen in a real long time, so just please take some of those with a bit of salt, okay?
Squidward's theory.
Okay, this one really pisses me off because this is not a theory. Everything he says in this is just someone on the internet made this scary image of Squidward and then they used it in one of the episodes. That is not a theory. This is just stating facts. After that, there was this one little clip there like, please like, subscribe, there'll be this centipede on your face tonight, which sure, nothing weird that, but I saw actually a different video with the same exact premise for liking and subscribing. Even has the same sound effects and the same I would do it quote afterwards.
Before we go on, like this video, smash the subscribe button and click the notification bell right now, or this centipede will crawl on your face when you're sleeping.
Before we go on, like this video, smash the subscribe button, and click the notification bell right now, or this centipede will crawl on your face when you're sleeping.
I don't know if that was just a coincidence, or maybe the channels are owned by the same people, but either way, it's interesting.
Number 14. Toy Story 3 is about the Holocaust.
Oh god, no, I'm not sure if this, no, please don't.
Well, for starters, the speech that Woody gives at the beginning of the film is almost identical to one in The Pianist, an award-winning Holocaust drama made by Roman Polanski.
You know, there is one thing called referencing. When one piece of media makes a callback to a different piece of media. I think that's more likely going on here.
All the toys then decide to seek refuge in the attic, which is clearly a reference to Anne Frank, who was a Jewish little girl that had to hide in an attic from the Nazi soldiers.
They are toys! Of course they've been going to the attic, because toys are often kept in the attic. How did you even connect those things together?
The toys are then all crammed into a box and taken away to a daycare center, which is a clear reference to the trains that took people to the concentration camps.
How long are your arms? Because that's one hell of a reach.
You could argue that a daycare center's not a concentration camp, but in the movie, it isn't a happy place for the toys.
That's because toys are put with the toddlers who didn't know how to play with them properly. Meanwhile, the ones who were the older kids were having a great time.
The similarities are too many to be a coincidence.
Half of these were literally just reaches so long that you can just take something from Paris even if you're in New York.
The Smurfs are anti-Semitic and racist. Starts by stating that Smurfs live in a political dictatorship. They are discouraged from taking any kind of initiative, and they all eat together in the same communal room. There's only one leader, and they rarely leave their home country. It's starting to sound like communist Russia, and there's more.
The issue with this point is that Smurfs live in a village, not a country, and as far as we know, this is the only Smurf village in existence. And taking that account, it makes sense they do most of the things together and have one person who is in charge.
And then we have the #1 enemy of the state, Gargamel, which Bueno says is an anti-Semitic caricature of a Jew.
How? Like, I get that you're quoting another source, but you still have to explain why that source believes that. You can't just say it's a caricature without any evidence.
Craziest part about this theory is that it fits perfectly.
No, it doesn't. What's next?
Number 11. Snow White is about cocaine and addiction.
Hold on, are you being serious?
First of all, the name of the main character, Snow White. Now, I don't know if you know what cocaine looks like, but it is literally a white powder that looks exactly like snow.
You know those people who talk about Disney movies, but it's clear they have never seen them? Like when people claim that Beauty and the Beast is about Stockholm Syndrome? Yeah, this is like literal the same thing. Her name is Snow White because her skin was white as snow. That's the most basic Disney knowledge you can ever have. And another thing that a lot of people pointed out in the original video's comments, Snow White was already a tale even before the movie came out, so this theory just is completely gone just by that.
Dwarves, which are named after their personalities, and believe it or not, they match exactly the different stages of cocaine addiction and withdrawal.
Do I really need to explain to you why this is stupid? Like, general, I feel like you have a brain. I think you can figure out why this does not work.
And finally, we have Snow White's big sleep, which could be an overdose. Or is that going too far?
You call it going too far, but I think that's the most normal part of this entire theory. I never heard this theory before, but I thought you're going to go in exactly that direction. And you're just confusing me with other stuff because they're so easily proven wrong, yet you can't really prove the apple thing wrong. I mean, you still can because it's from the original story, but you get what I'm trying to say.
Number 9. Garfield is dying of starvation. A series of Garfield comic strips was released in October 1989 that literally freaked everyone out. They were about Garfield waking up only to realize he was in an empty and abandoned house, and finally accepting that not only was he alone, but that he had been for many years already. So basically, all the joyful strips that we are all so fond of a grumpy, lasagna-loving cat were merely Garfield's dream.
Damn, it took us way too long to get one of these. It was just a dream theory. I searched up the comic this video is talking about, and I actually really understand where most people are coming from. The strip itself is actually pretty scary. However, from what I have read, it seems like the creator just wanted to scare people, and this is not supposed to be anything more. It's just a little Halloween scare. It's not supposed to mean that he's dead or whatever.
ScoobyDoo was set during an economic depression. Have you ever wondered why it is that every single one of the places the characters in Scooby-Doo visit is completely run down?
I wonder why would a show about ghost and monster huntings only visit abandoned and old buildings? Nah, I got nothing.
There is an urban legend that says it's because the show was set during a terrible economic crisis that was so devastated it even affected celebrities, famous athletes, and important scientists. Why else would all these people with the skill sets of having high-paying jobs devote their lives to petty crime by putting on costumes of scary monsters?
Because they're celebrities, duh. I mean, if celebrity does this today, that would not even be in the top 5 craziest things celebrities have done in the past year, like just year.
The other famous theory about Scooby-Doo is that him and Shaggy are very high all the time.
Okay, that's actually canon.
And finally, the darkest theory for last. Some people think that Shaggy's actually a drug addict, aka a junkie, and his drug-induced hallucinations make him believe that his recently deceased dog is still alive and can even talk.
Don't the other 3 also acknowledge Scooby? Does that mean they're also on drugs?
Number 7. The Brenda Theory. The Powerpuff Girls are one person.
A little disclaimer, I have not seen Powerpuff Girls ever since I was 6 or 7, so I really apologize if I get some stuff wrong.
According to this conspiracy theory, the Powerpuff Girls are not 3 different girls with superpowers, but rather 3 different personalities of one very normal girl called Brenda.
I don't know if Brenda is already a character in the show, or just something creative the show made up. If it's the second thing, Brenda? Really? Brenda is not a name that a little girl has. Brenda is a name of someone who just spawned in the world at age 36.
It is believed that Brenda developed dissociative identity disorder, also known as multiple personalities disorder, after years of enduring savage bullying from her brother.
First, these clips from Teen Titans Go and Powerpuff Girls crossover are just taking me out. One big issue with this theory is that within the show, everyone always talks to Powerpuff Girls as 3 separate people. And even if Brenda had DID and multiple personalities inside them, people would still refer to her just as one person.
Her bully of a brother becomes Mojo Jojo. And as you might remember, Mojo Jojo was created by Professor Utonium, meaning he's the Powerpuff Girls' big brother.
Hold on. So who is their big brother? Because you just said that both Jojo Mojo and Doctor are their brother, but like, it's only one of them, right? Like, it can't be both of them. I'm guessing that what they're trying to say is that Mojo Jojo is just like persona of a doctor, but in that case, why would he even be in the show? Because he's already there as Mojo Jojo, so it makes no sense to him to be both Mojo Jojo and then playing a role of like a father.
Finally, we have the mayor, who represents Brenda's helplessness and desire to ask for external help. So Why
are you bringing Mayor into this? Didn't you say there was only 3 girls?
So Brenda creates 3 different girls with very different character traits.
I know it's not uncommon with D&D to have personalities have different ages and stuff, but it's kinda odd if your 3 of your 4 personalities are like little girls and the 4th one is just like a middle-aged man.
6. The Rugrats are all in Angelica's imagination.
Similar situation to Powerpuffs, I have seen one episode of Rugrats like a few years back, so I don't know much about the series.
Chucky died with his mother, which explains why his father is such a neurotic, nervous...
You know why also he could be like such a nervous wreck? Because his wife is dead. And he has to raise a child by his own, which you know is not necessarily an easy task. And quick question, why do all the Chuckies have red hair? Is that some kind of codex I'm not aware of?
Wreck. Tommy was a stillborn baby. That would explain why Stu, his father, is always in the basement making new toys for the son he never had the chance to meet and play with.
Or maybe he's just making toys for a child he has.
And finally, the DeVilles had an abortion, and because Angelica had no way of knowing the gender of the baby, she opted for both. Twins, a little boy and a little girl.
I'm guessing that in this scenario they're mixing up abortion with miscarriage. Because when someone has abortion, it's mainly because they either don't want or can afford to have a child. So I really don't know where Angelica would even know that their mother was pregnant. And even if she did, would she even understand the concept of abortion? Because when the Zills, or the hell their name is, mother was pregnant, she was even younger than she was in the show.
This theory completely changes the tone of a seemingly innocent and fun children's cartoon. Basically, Angelica was building an entire group of friends in her head, friends that could have been around her, but death took them away. And in ad-lib thought, she's also able to take out her aggressions on them and they can't abandon her. It's a little too dark for a toddler to watch, don't you think?
No, actually I don't. Angelica is a toddler. And the concept of imaginary friends has been around for years. I don't know what's so dark about the idea of a young girl imagining friends. I guess the part of babies dying is kinda dark, but like outside of that, no, it's not dark. Even if this were true, it would not be that dark.
Number 5. Ash from Pokemon is in a coma.
What the hell is Sasuke from Naruto doing here? Okay, I know that's Ash in hospital bed or whatever, but that legit looks like Sasuke. I thought that was Sasuke when I first watched this video.
This theory revolves around the fact that in the first episode of Pokemon, Ash fell into a coma after being hit with Pikachu's supercharged thunder attack.
I remember seeing this theory not too long ago, but the reason why Ash fell into coma was different. According to that theory, he fell into coma after he fell off his bike. So it seems like you guys can just decide why he fell into coma, you just want him to be in the coma for some reason.
One of the facts that supports this theory is that Ash never grows older and never changes his appearance.
What do you mean that supports this theory? Characters not growing older and not changing appearances is like #1 rule in cartoons. Please, name me 5 cartoons where they change their clothes regularly. You can't because no one does that. That's like watching Looney Tunes and asking, they just fell off a cliff and then exploded. Why did they just find the next frame? Because that's the point.
It would also explain Nurse Joy and Officer Jenny being exactly identical everywhere he goes. The explanation of them all being identical sisters is highly improbable. What if they're figments of his imagination?
Yeah, that's far more probable.
Number 2. Ed, and Eddie are living in purgatory.
Once again, I have not seen the show before, so I really apologize to any of the fans who might be watching this if I get anything wrong.
Take a look at the color of their tongues, for example. They're all blue or green. Only dead people have tongues like that. And also their skin color, which is of a strange yellowish tone, exactly like dead people.
I mean, they also look like that, so I don't get your point.
There's also the fact that there are no adults in the show. They're constantly mentioned, but they never appear, and that is very suspicious.
From what I have seen, it seems like the show is about just a bunch of kids playing outside, and in real life when kids are playing outside, parents are either at job or at home. So I'm guessing that's the reason why we never got to see them. It would be nice if we do, but just because we don't does that make it suspicious.
And the fact that they are all in purgatory would explain the irregularities within the time frame of the cartoon. Sometimes you can see typewriters, sometimes VHS machines, and in other episodes they are using computers, and that doesn't make any sense. Usually, in a normal setting, you wouldn't use electronics from that big of a range in history.
Ah yes, big range in history, VHS tapes and computers. Even typewriters aren't that crazy to use in this time, I think. I don't know when the show is supposed to be taking place, but it came out in late 90s, so I'm guessing that it takes place around that time. Taking that into consideration, I don't get your point here. It makes perfect sense for them to be using that technology. Except maybe typewriter, but I can still understand that a bit.
Can't know for sure if the creator of the show explicitly did this on purpose, but it really fits.
No, it does not. It does not fit. I hate when people just take puzzle pieces, break them, and then act like they fit. They don't.
Number 1. Wile E. Coyote is in hell. And the show consists almost exclusively of the coyote trying to catch the Roadrunner and failing miserably time after time after time again. The Roadrunner always outwits the coyote at the last minute and gets away in a very mocking way. But he always seems to come back to this nightmarish world where the object of his desire is always at arm's reach, but he can never touch it. Sounds like torture, right? There's a theory that stipulates exactly that. The coyote would actually be stuck in his own personal hell for all eternity.
I hate using this as an argument, but it's not that deep, bro. Looney Tunes, especially old ones, never had anything deep or profound happening them. It was always just some funny slapstick with animals. And pushing that aside, there's literally nothing in the show that would suggest that. Like, at least the other shows, at least they had some reason to believe that. There's like some evidence for it, quote unquote. But this is just said because dark, I guess. And that's the end of that video. And also, this is the end of this video. If you enjoyed this video, you can like it. If you didn't enjoy it, you can leave the comment telling me what's wrong. And if not too much to ask, please subscribe. I'm this close to hitting 400 subscribers, and if I do, I would be really happy. And with that, go watch something else.